Hello student, welcome in Department of Nanoscience and Nanotechnology SYBSc paper second class. This is our third lecture on the topic mechanical properties. In last lecture we have been studied the second mechanical property which is tribology, and also in last lecture we have been studied the first component of tribology science. In today's lecture we are going to study about the second and third component of tribology science, which are wear and lubrication. So what is wear? Wear is another component of tribology science. It is the action of material loss from contacting surfaces in relative motion. When contact happens during sliding, rolling or impact motion, the interaction between asperities of the contacting surfaces causes wear based on the mechanical behavior and the chemical nature of these surfaces. In fact, wear starts by altering the properties of surfaces during contact. Wear particles start to form until actual material loss occurs. Wear is an independent response to friction, and in some cases these two tribology elements have inverse behavior, such as the case of ceramics having low wear and high friction. The wear process is used in industry in many applications such as shaving, grinding, machining and polishing, but it is an undesirable for machine elements such as bearings and gears. There are different types of wear based on the working conditions and the material properties. First is adhesive wear. Adhesive wear occurs when adhesive junctions created in the contact area are sheared by sliding. Depending on the physical and the chemical properties of the material, asperities undergo several steps in order than final wear happens. These steps are initiated by deformation of contact asperities of the material, and as sliding contact remain, the surface films are eliminated. Then, under load, instantaneous adhesive bonds are created, but after further motion, sliding shears these contact junctions and material is transferred. These fragments are modified and transferred until final creation of wear particles. Adhesive wear is one of the most common types of wear, and it is ruled by the material properties such as grain boundaries. In fact, materials containing high grain boundaries generate elevated rates of wear compared to materials with low grain boundaries. Next is abrasive wear. Abrasive wear occurs when two materials with significant hardness difference are in contact. It results from plastic deformation after penetration of the asperities of the hard material into the surface of the weaker one. Abrasive wear depends on different factors, and it is a process ruled by several mechanisms such as ploughing, when the material is moved to the side resulting in the development of adjacent ridge and grooves, and cutting, when the material is cut from the surface as microchips without contacting to side of grooves. Also, fragmentation, when the material cut from the surface and indentation start local fracture, and hence the propagation of the crack results in significant loss of material. Abrasive wear is frequent, and it is a grave type of wear compared to the other types because of the amount of material loss that can occur. Next is surface fatigue wear. Contact surfaces are acting under different loads in most machine elements such as gears, bearings and friction drives. These elements are subject to repeated cycles of loading and unloading that lead to the initiation of cracks in their contact area and failure. Hence, the classification as a fatigue failure since it is related to stress contact. Wear fatigue is generated through transfer of stress to the contact spots and development of deformation in cycles. Then, after crack nucleation at subsurfaces, cracks are generated and propagated until the creation of wear particles. However, it is irrelevant to quantify fatigue wear as mass or volume. Instead, life cycles are used. For the analytical approach of fatigue wear, several traditional theories are still applied and they are adapted to describe precisely the fatigue wear life of each machine element that undergoes sliding and rolling contacts. Next is impact wear. Impact wear is produced either by erosion or percussion. Erosion is generated through kinetic energy of solid particles present in the air or liquid streams of interacting surface. This kinetic energy generates contact stress. Then plastic deformation occurs until cutting of material or intersection or cracks occur and hence wear of the material. Next is wear due to chemical reactions. The reactivity of material surfaces and the interaction with the outer environment may lead to chemical reaction that can generate undesirable phenomena such as oxidation and corrosion. When these surfaces are subject to friction of rubbing, abrasion and cracks appear to lead to wear. Next is wear of lubricated contacts. The lubrication of contacting surfaces is characterized by the lambda ratio, which is the ratio of film thickness over the equivalent roughness of the contacting solids. Generally, if the ratio is greater than 3, then the probability of contact is neglected. Therefore, mechanical wear would not occur. For values of lambda between 1 and 3, the load will be shared by the lubricant and the asperities and contact can occur and hence adhesive wear between touching asperities is possible. Also, if the value of ratio lambda is less than 1, then the contact is serious and will lead to fatigue and adhesive wear. All contacts for different values of lambda are either elastic or plastic depending on the plasticity index of the interacting solids. The introduction of lubricants changes the wear problem in contacting surfaces. In fact, chemical wear can be avoided if adequate chemical composition of the lubricant is used. Also, abrasive wear is rare in lubricated contacts since the lubricant and the contacting surfaces in machine elements are mostly clean before use. Then abrasion is not possible until accumulation of wear particles in the contacting interface. Hence, the most common wear type in lubrication are fatigue and adhesive wear. Next is lubrication. As a third component of tribology science, lubrication is fundamental concept for the performance of machine elements. It is essential for elements experiencing direct solid contact or dynamic motion and it can be defined as the process of introducing a substance between two relatively close surfaces in relative motion in order to reduce the volume of friction and wear. In absence of lubrication, friction and wear will cause fast failures of the machine components, and according to studies, more than 36% of bearings and gears are caused by poor lubrication. The formation of natural films on solid surfaces is not common, so operational lubrication is compulsory for most machine elements, and lubrication science and industry have been evolving since the creation of machinery. Based on the nature of the lubricant, lubrication can be solid or fluid. In fact, some machine elements operate under high temperatures and different pressures. So, the use of solid film lubricant is essential. Solid film is a substance such as powder or solid material used to reduce wear and friction effect. The most used dry lubricants are graphite and molybdenum disulfide that can reach up to 1100 Celsius degree and can be used for ball bearings and space industries, while fluid film can be liquid or gaseous. The thin film reduces contact and the thick one can prevent contact between lubricated surfaces. Air can be used as a lubricant while liquid lubricants are based on mineral oils. Next is fluid film lubrication regimes. In that, first one is hydrostatic lubrication. As the name implies, it is based on pressure. A relatively thick film is introduced into the contact area at a continuous pressure high enough to separate the contacting surfaces. It does not require motion of the elements. This kind of lubrication leads to absolute minimum friction, and it is used in applications where velocities are low or when rubbing or interaction contact is not desired. Usually, corrosion results from hydrostatic lubrication due to interaction between the lubricant and the material of the lubricated surfaces. Next is hydrodynamic lubrication. In this, the pressure to separate contacting surfaces is built up when the sliding velocities of contacting machine elements pull the introduced lubricant into the cavity of contacting interface. It provides a load carrying capacity that is explained by viscosity of the lubricant that prevents instantaneous squeezing out of the contact interface. It is the most applied regime in modern industries, and it is considered as ideal because the films are many times thicker than the heights of the contacting surface asperities, but contact can still occur at starts or stops because of low speeds. These start-stop conditions can cause adhesive wear. High speeds can increase the friction and induce chemical corrosive wear. It is also called full film lubrication or fluid lubrication. Next is elastohydrodynamic lubrication. It is the combination of hydrodynamic lubrication and the elastic deformation of asperities in the contacting interface. Velocity and load result in flat surfaces through contact that allows a full hydrodynamic film to form. It is used for rolling or non-conforming surfaces such as rolling element, bearing or gears, and the lubricant film is thinner than the hydrodynamic regime. It is used with high loads. These high loads affect several aspects such as geometry, viscosity, and deformation that alter important properties such as thermal and shear rates. Fatigue wear is most common for this, while corrosive wear can happen and starts stops situations induce adhesive wear. Next is boundary lubrication. At extreme conditions like high pressure, temperature, or load, velocity and fluid viscosity may decrease, blocking the formation of full film. Actually, surfaces come too close together and the contact is dominated by interaction between surface asperities and the monomolecular or multimolecular films. Some asperities of the contacting surfaces come in contact while the rest are separated by the thin film. The phenomena of formation of boundary films is induced by physical or chemical absorption and chemical reactions. This kind of lubrication is frequent in machine elements operating at high loads and low speeds. Usually, in boundary lubrication, viscosity does not affect wear and friction behavior, though adhesive and chemical wear are likely to appear. Next is mixed lubrication. It is a state when two lubrication regime can be present. It can be defined as intermediate lubrication between hydrodynamic or elastohydrodynamic and boundary lubrication. It is characterized by multimolecular lubricant films. Contact can occur as parts of the interface are covered by a partial film. In absence of films, absorption, adhesion, and metal interaction can occur, which eventually lead to adhesive and chemical wear. Now, the favorable conditions. Generally, the failure of film lubrication is due to the melting of films at extreme temperatures and the degradation of contacting surface multilayers as a result of critical load and velocity. Besides, there are many conditions that can improve the lubrications. In fact, the lubricated material itself can improve lubrication if the surface has high energy which facilitates absorption of molecules such as in case of metals. Also, the reactivity of the surfaces enhances the formation of stable chemical films. From another side, the nature of the lubricant determines its performance. For example, the increase in the interaction of molecules improves boundary lubrication and multimolecular layers diminish friction rates. Besides, the length of the carbon chain in the lubricant is important since the friction decreases as length increases. Also, chemical films that can form from fatty acids or mineral oils block wear and friction of reactive surfaces. Moreover, absorbed gases like air, which is most common in boundary lubrication, are important because it is proven that oxygen presence decrease the friction rate. Next is liquid lubricants. Liquid lubricants are formed by natural or synthetic oils, and the most used oils in industry are a mixture of both to improve the oil performance. Natural organic oils are based on animal fat and vegetable and considered as good boundary lubricants, but they are thermally and oxidatively unstable and the maximum operating temperature is 130 degrees, while mineral oils are superb boundary lubricants because of the presence of paraffins that increase the working temperature up to 200 degrees. Synthetic oils are used because of critical conditions of pressure and humidity, and operating temperature can reach up to 450 degrees. A synthetic hydrocarbon is based on replacement of weak bonds fraction in the carbon chain by hydrocarbon chain, while chlorofluorocarbons replace hydrogen by chlorine and fluorine to protect carbon bonds. Esters exhibit good temperature and viscosity, properties because they contain strong bonds. Acids and alcohol can produce many esters. Silicones constitute excellent hydrodynamic lubricants because of their thermal stability, their low surface tension, and because they are chemically inert, but they are the most expensive. Polyphenol ethers have good resistance to oxidation and can reach over 500 degrees. Equally, to enhance the performance of these oils, different additives are applied. Additives control the function of the lubricants and hence the classification as non-reactive, low friction, anti-wear or extreme pressure lubricants. For example, anti-wear additives are used for the surface of bearings to form a coating that resists forces responsible of wear. So, these are the second and third component of tribology science. In next lecture, we will study the third property of mechanical property, that is elasticity. Thank you so much.